Great to have you back with us. I'm Dr. Erez Dayan here with Dr. Chilukuri and Dr. McCoy. We're going to be talking about some of the newest technology and hottest technology out there in aesthetic medicine, and we're going to be talking about M-Sculpt.
Right.
So great to have you guys with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about M-Sculpt and how you got involved and sort of the whole progression.
Certainly. You mind if I go first?
Absolutely.
So M-Sculpt is high-fem technology, high-intensity focused electromagnetic technology, and this got started in the physiotherapy world. Very interesting to see. What we found out is that when we're actually using this device to repair a muscle, there was a side effect, and that side effect was some fat loss in that area, and they were seeing it on MRI and CT when they were recovering these athletes. They thought about it and they said, can we use the same technology to globally enhance somebody's muscle as well as reduce some of the fat? So we started the trials back in 2015, 2016. They got FDA approved in October of 2016, and we're excited about the technology, and I think you were one of the early adopters too. So we're excited about the technology and trying to figure out what can we do with it. And they made us wait another 2 years, over 18 months, 19 months before we can actually launch it. They wanted to get all these studies together. And we've launched a lot of different products over the time, including Cool Sculpting by Zeltiq. And it was interesting to see the company take in really making sure that they had their ducks in a row. So it's really incredible technology. Right now it's approved for the abdomen, for the buttocks. It's a smaller applicator just came out that got approved for the calf earlier last week, and then the arms got approved back in March. So pretty applicable for what we're seeing in Texas. And tell us about Arizona, I guess.
Yeah, it was really a blessing to get involved with the project in the beginning, and I believe I was the second site to get the original prototype.
Wow.
And it was one of those things, okay, does this thing really work?
Right.
And the thing that was really amazing out of the gate was BTL really did things right by bringing a group of people together to really get data collected and see, okay, one, does the treatment work? Is it safe? How long are we seeing duration of result, and what's the best protocol? Often companies will come to market with a device really quickly, and we have this very conservative protocol, and we have to kind of figure out how to make things work. Where when M-Sculpt came to market and started to be sold, we had a protocol that we knew worked, where we do 4 treatments over a period of 2 weeks. So you're doing 2 treatments a week. And during that time period, we're seeing really nice result quickly with no downtime.
That's great. I mean, I think you nailed it. There's so many products coming out. There's so much marketing, and we're so connected with social media and digital media. It's hard to know what really works and what doesn't, even for the provider. Even if you just turn on your TV, you see the ab sculpting device, and it's hitting you with the, so I think in our minds, it's almost sometimes when something's too good to be true,
Right.
It concerns you. And I've seen the M-Sculpt studies, and you can't argue with the CT scan that shows you, more robust muscle and a smaller fat layer. So I think that's really an amazing technology.
Yeah.
Who are the ideal patients, do you think, for M-Sculpt?
Good. So I think it's any one of us on the panel. All of us, we work out, we diet pretty regularly, and it's that next level that you want to go to enhance everything. Everybody wants to sell something as a full package and say, we can treat any size. You can theoretically treat any size, but in my opinion, I want the people who are already relatively lean, relatively fit, or maybe somebody who just had a baby and we want to improve the diastasis recti or the separation of the muscle. So that's my ideal candidate, somebody that's going to partner with me to make sure that they get good results.
I think it's a really good point, because patient selection is really everything, and we can't apply all these technologies to the spectrum of patients, because inevitably we're going to have patients that don't get the result they want. So I think it's an excellent point. Identifying who's going to benefit from what technology and how to apply it, I think, is about half of the battle.
For sure.
I saw that about the diastasis recti. I think, was it Drew Barrymore that went on talking about
she did
post-pregnant, because it's a big issue for many patients. In plastic surgery, we see patients all the time who are thin or
100%.
relatively fit, and with pregnancy, the muscles just naturally, the six-pack muscles naturally separate. And I'm a plastic surgeon. This is what we do, but to to create a long incision,
Right.
bring those muscles together is a lot
Right.
sometimes.
And I think it's interesting also from a non-surgical standpoint what we can do, because we're now partnering with several plastic surgeons in the Houston-wide area to see if we can do the M-Skull first. We wait 2 to 3 months, then they go in, they'll do an abdominoplasty if needed. And we're seeing with the MRI results from these patients who are asking, well, do I really need to have surgery? You can do a physical exam, you can also do, of course, the radiologic exam, and they're seeing that oftentimes either they don't have to do as big of a procedure, or that the suture actually holds better inside the thickness of the muscle that's there.
Interesting.
So something that I thought that was a little bit unique. What did you guys see in Arizona? Same thing?
Same thing, and the preliminary data through MRI on diastasis recti is showing an approximate 11% reduction. In the photography and the patients that I've been treating I've got patients that are almost 3 years post now. I would say it's definitely a bell-shaped curve, because you have patients that have a more significant reduction. And more importantly, it's not even, I think we tend to focus a lot on the cosmetic. The thing that is incredibly unique with this procedure is it's not just things look better, but patients consistently feel a difference. This is the type of treatment that you feel a difference, you can see an improvement in posture, especially with the glute treatment. There's actually a functional change, and I will tell you, patients really appreciate that, because this is a cosmetic focus, but a lot of these patients are very active, and when they see a functional change, that can be really dramatic.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. What would you say, you see an average patient, they come to you, what do you typically tell them? How many treatments does it take? Is there any downtime? What's the typical scenario?
With the protocols that we started originally, we were doing 4 treatments, 6 treatments, 8 treatments, even up to 12 treatments, 2 a week, and separated by 2 to 3 days. We found that the ideal sweet spot, and again, we're in medicine, right? So everybody's going to be a little bit different. You have to pay attention to that patient, do a physical exam, and make sure they're going to get the best results with what protocol you start. But on average, we found that the sweet spot in the bell-shaped curve that JD was talking about is really 4 treatments over 2 weeks. Okay. So you come in twice a week, and you want to separate it between 2 and 3 days. And if you look at muscle physiology, and JD is the better person with muscle physiology, you can see that ideal time to recover some of that muscle and get the best results from it is about 2 days.
I see. And is there any downtime associated?
Zero. Absolutely zero. And the best part is, this is what I see. We had a dermatologist in our local neck of the woods. He came for the treatment. He just wanted to try it out. He had a second treatment, and he calls me that week, and he's like, Suneel, I feel like Superman. Like, I feel so strong, and I feel like I've been going to the gym for 3 months instead of 2 weeks. I always make people go to the gym for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks to show that they have commitment before we put them on the machine. Because again, we want to partner with patients and make sure they have the best results.
Interesting. Yeah, I was walking to the speaker ready room, and I saw another room with people trialing M-Sculpt.
Yes.
And I was like, maybe I'll just pop in there for a minute and see how it feels. Because when you look at it, you can see it working. I mean, you can really see the device.
You can see the muscles.
It's not a subtle thing.
There is an intensity to it.
Right.
It is an intense contraction. It should never be painful. Meaning we go to the threshold that you can tolerate with intensity, and it should feel like a little bit of a workout. To me, I don't really want it to be a relaxing treatment. I want them to really be able to focus and feel that contraction. But I encourage you to go and try it, because once you feel it, you'll understand, okay, this is not like anything else you felt before on your muscles. Because I've treated a whole spectrum, and patients that are extremely fit, extremely muscular fit, and when they do this treatment, even those patients are like, oh my gosh, I have never felt my muscle contract in such a way, and it's because it hasn't contracted. We're initiating a supramaximal contraction that is beyond what you can do through normal physiology, and we're pulsing at 32 hertz.
Wow.
So you're doing 32 contractions in a second. That's amazing.
Well, and that's only 40% of the actual potential of what we can do with that device.
Oh,
so
I see.
it's
so
actually
it's not even cranked up all the way.
No. And one of the side effects that I thought was very, very interesting is what you can do with back pain, with shoulder injuries and other areas that are injured. We have several patients that came through because one had a paralysis on one side of the leg. So we're rehabbing that the entire leg, the thigh, and both the front and the back of the thigh to actually rehab it and get her back to walking. And at the beginning, we were only doing 20%. We've gotten her up to 40%, and now she's walking without a limp 6 weeks later.
Wow.
And she's been in physiotherapy for over a year trying to recover that leg. So it's pretty neat.
It's amazing how, you know, in plastic surgery, we focused a lot on removing fat, and that was always, and we got pretty good at that. You know, we have liposuction, cool sculpting, all these Kybella, all these different modalities, and now to be able to remove fat and build up muscle is really game changing.
We're addressing 35% of that canvas that we never did before.
That's amazing.
Right?
Well, sign me up.
It's a pleasure. Nice talking to you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks
Thank you guys so
having
much
us.
for being here and
got
telling
it.
us
Thank
about
you.
the technology.